Flowers? I like flowers. And when you think about flowers, I want you always to think about this. Flowers are all about reproduction. Hey, it's spring, and what can I tell you? It's all about getting and moving the pollen around and creating seeds. And a lot of times flowers have help from things like insects and hummingbirds and even bats and mammals sometimes to move their pollen around and help them to create seeds, which lead to offspring in the next generation. And your job today is you're going to learn the parts of a flower. And so let's get this motivated here. That looks pretty good. And you're going to learn about the male parts of the flower and the female parts of the flower. Now, the male parts of the flower are the stamen, the anther, and the filament. And the female parts of the flower are the pistil, the stigma, the style, the ovary, and the oval. Now, the stamen, this is the part of the plant, part of the flower. It is made up of the filament and the anther. It is the pollen-producing part of the plant. The number of stamen is usually the same as the number of petals. Anther, this is the part of the stamen that produces and contains pollen. It is usually on top of the long stalk, and it looks like a fine hair. And the filament, this is the fine hair-like stalk that the anther sits on top of, as you can see in the illustration there. Okay, female parts. The pistil, this is the female part of the flower. It is made up of the stigma, the style, and the ovary. Each pistil is constructed of one to many rolled leaf-like structures. The stigma, one of the female parts of the flower, it is a sticky bulb that you see in the center of the flowers. It is the part of the pistil of a flower which receives pollen grains and on which they germinate. The style, another female part of the flower, is the long stalk that the stigma sits on top of. And then, of course, the ovary is a female part of the flower, and it's usually at the bottom of the flower. This has the seeds inside, and it turns into a fruit that we eat if it's a fruit-producing flower. The ovule is the part of the ovary that actually becomes the seeds. So those are the important reproductive parts of the flower. There's also things like the stem and the petals and things like that. And just remember, flowers are all about reproduction.